Nature's call! Fairy flight! Nature's call! Taking off! Up here! For Monarch! Catch me if you can! Your moves are transparent to me. For Monarch! Up here!
อันตราย
Taking off! Your moves are transparent to me. Catch me if you can! Up here! Nature's call! I'm going to teach you a lesson. Catch me if you can! Your moves are transparent to me. Up here! Nature's call! Look out! For Monarch! Nature's call! Up here! For Monarch! Catch me if you can!
Double tap.
Nature's call! For Monarch! Taking off! Nature's call! For Monarch! Nature's call! Fairy flight! Your moves are transparent to me. For Monarch! I'm going to teach you a lesson.
ศัตรูหายไป
Fairy flight! Up here! Nature's call! Your moves are transparent to me. Catch me if you can! Up here! Nature's call! I'm going to teach you a lesson. Taking off! Too slow. Catch me if you can! Up here! Taking off! Your moves are transparent to me. I'm going to teach you a lesson. Your moves are transparent to me. I'm going to teach you a lesson. Your moves are transparent to me. Fairy flight! Up here! Taking off! Fairy flight! Taking off!
The darkness is attacking one of your structures.
Nature's call! Up here! For Monarch! Too slow! Catch me if you can! Fairy flight! I'm going to teach you a lesson. Nature's call! Fairy flight! Your moves are transparent to me. Catch me if you can! Look out! Taking off! Up here! I'm going to teach you a lesson. Too slow. Your moves are transparent to me. Up here! are transparent to me. Catch me if you can. Taking off. Fairy flight. Catch me if you can. Nature's
ถอยไป
call. Fairy flight.
The darkness is attacking one of your structures.
Nature's call. Fairy
เข้าปะทะ
flight.
ตรงนี้
Taking off. Too slow. For Monarch. Your moves are transparent to me.
ถอยไป
Catch me if you can. For Monarch.
เข้าปะทะตรงนี้
Taking off. Catch me if you can. For Monarch. Nature's call.
The darkness is attacking one of your structures.
Catch me if you can. Fairy flight. Nature's call. Catch me if you can. Up here. Nature's call. Taking off. Fairy flight. Catch me if you can. Nature's call. Fairy flight. Catch me if you can. Taking off. Nature's call. Fairy flight. Taking off.
ฮีโร่ศัตรูกำลังไปเลนกลาง
Fairy flight.
ถอยไป
Taking off. Catch me if you can. Your moves are transparent to me. For Monarch. Up here. Fairy flight. I'm going to teach you a lesson. Look out! Catch me if you can. Your moves are transparent to me. Taking off.
ระวัง
Fairy flight. Look out. Taking off. For Monarch.
The darkness is attacking one of your structures.
Nature's call. For Monarch.
The Legion have descended upon a hellborn tower.
Fairy flight. Catch me if you can.
เข้าปะ
I'm
ทะตรง
gonna
นี้
teach you a lesson. Too slow. Taking off. Catch me if you can. For Monarch. I'm going to teach you a lesson. Fairy flight.
Like us.
Up here! Fairy flight! Catch me if you can! Fairy flight!
Illusion.
Nature's call! Catch me if you can! Look out!
ฮีโร่ศัตรูกำลังไปเลนล่าง
I'm going to teach you a lesson! Catch me if you can! Your moves are transparent to me!
โจมตี
For Monarch!
Going somewhere.
Nature's call!
Going somewhere.
Fairy flight! I'm going to teach you a lesson!
Be cleansed.
Take it off!
โคตรโหดในเช็ดแค่ขนาดเปเล่ยังต้องกดไลค์
Catch me if you can!
Warrior of the light.
For Monarch!
The darkness is attacking one of your structures.
Take it off! Fairy flight! Take it off! Fairy flight! For Monarch! Ah! Why attack from head-on when I can fly circles around the corrupted?
Regeneration.
Catch me if you can! For Monarch! Take it off! Catch me if you can! Nature's call!
Be cleansed.
The Legion have descended upon a hellborn tower.
Can! Take it off! For Monarch!
Light them up.
Look out! Nature's call!
Kiss my ass.
Your soul is mine.
Resistance takes flight. For Monarch! Catch me if you can. Too slow. Fairy flight. Look out! Catch me if you can. I'm gonna teach you a lesson.
ระวัง
Nature's call. Up here. Catch me if you can. I'm going to teach you a lesson. Nature's call. Ha! 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 For Monarch!
ฮีโร่ศัตรูกำลังไปเลนบ
Kiss
อล
my ass. Why can't we be like them?
Nature's call. from HoN when I can fly circles around the grove. Very tight.
บ้านี่ขจัดไป3แล้วเหรอ
Catch me if you can.
The darkness is attacking one of your structures. The Legion have descended upon a hellborn tower.
Taking off. I'm going to teach you a lesson.
The darkness is attacking one of your structures.
Catch me if you can. Fairy flight.
The hellborn have descended upon a Legion tower.
Taking off.
The Legion have descended upon a hellborn tower.
Fairy flight.
The darkness is attacking one of your structures.
For Monarch. Catch me if you can. Too slow. Nature's
นิ่มขนาดนี้นี่มันคนหรือขี้กันวะ
transparent. Fairy flight.
Double tap.
This armor requires testing immediately. Nature's call.
ระวัง
Fairy flight.
ระวัง ระวัง
Nature's call. Taking off. For Monarch. Fairy flight. For Monarch. I'm going to teach you a lesson. Nature's call.
The darkness is attacking one of your structures.
Your moves are transparent. Taking off. Nature's call. Taking off. Fairy flight. Nature's
Ultimate
call.
warrior.
I'm going to teach you. I've been dying to try this. For Monarch.
My brilliance is
Double tap.
Fairy flight. Catch me if you can. Nature's call. Taking off. Fairy flight. Catch me if you can. Taking off.
The darkness is attacking one of your structures.
Catch me if you can.
The Legion have descended upon a hellborn tower.
For Monarch. I've been dying to try this. Look out!
My brilliance is why can't we be
Fairy
friends?
flight. Taking off.
Going somewhere.
Nature's call. Taking off.
Slay the darkness.
For Monarch.
The darkness is attacking one of your structures.
Nature's call.
Be cleansed.
Fairy flight. Nature's call. Catch me if you can. Up here. Fairy flight. For Monarch. Your moves are trained me.
ฮีโร่ศัตรูกำลังไปเลนบน
Fairy flight. For Monarch. Ha! Nature's call. Catch me if you can. For Monarch. Fairy flight. Catch me if you can. Fairy flight. Nature's call. Catch me if you can. Taking off.
Be cleansed.
Your soul is mine.
Fairy flight. Taking off.
The darkness is attacking one of your structures.
Fairy flight. Taking off. Fairy flight. Catch me if you can.
The Legion have descended upon a hellborn tower.
For Monarch. Up here. Catch me if you can. Fairy flight. Two steps. Ha! Yeah! Ha! Catch me if you can. Fairy flight. For Monarch. Fairy flight.
The Legion have descended upon a hellborn tower.
For Monarch.
Be cleansed.
Warrior of the light.
โจมตี
I'm going to teach you a lesson. For Monarch. Nature's call. Pick it up.
ตับเติงหรือไปเลย
Too easy.
ไปอยู่ด้วยกันเลย
To ascension is
I'm
clear.
going to teach you a lesson. Nature's call. Catch me if you can. Ha! Taking off. Ha! For Monarch. Nature's call. Ha! Catch me if you can. Ha! For Monarch. Fairy flight. For Monarch. Catch me if you can. Nature's call. Nature's call. Fairy flight. Too slow.
Be cleansed.
Catch me if you can. For Monarch.
Legend of light.
ว้านี่ขจัดไป3แล้วเหรอ
Nature's call.
Onward like ascension.
Catch me if you can.
The dark matter is eliminated. The path to ascension is clear.
Fairy flight. For Monarch. Catch me if you can. Look out. Nature's call. For Monarch. Nature's call. Catch me if you can. For Monarch. Taking off.
Regeneration.
Catch me if you can. Your move
None can stop your rise.
Taking off.
ไม่ได้แดกคูหรอก
Nature's call.
โจมตี
Your Concord has found the
For
light.
Monarch.
Double tap.
Nature's call.
ว้านี่ขจัดไป3แล้วเหรอ
Ascension, domination. Why can't we be friends?
Fairy flight. Nature's call. For Monarch. Catch me if you can. Look out! Nature's call. Your moves are transparent to me. Look out! Taking off. Too slow. Nature's call. For Monarch. Taking off. For Monarch. Taking off. Catch me if you can. Taking off.
Be cleansed.
Very flight.
นิ่มขนาดนี้นี่มันคนหรือขี้กันวะ
Very
ไฟ
flight.
ไฟ
For Monarch. Nature's call. Catch me if you can. For Monarch. Nature's call. Catch me if you can. For Monarch. Fairy flight. Look out. For Monarch. Up here.
Are
Catch me
soaring.
if you can. Your moves are transparent to me. Up here. Take it off.
ทำเพิ่งลืมไปเลย เฮ้ย วักกลับมาแล้ว
Fairy flight. Take it off. I'm gonna teach you a lesson. Ha!
The path to ascension is clear.
Fairy flight. For Monarch. Nature's call. For Monarch. Taking off.
The Hellborn have descended upon a
Nature's
Legion
call.
tower.
Fairy flight. Up here. Nature's call. For Monarch. Pick it up. Nature's call. For Monarch. Catch me if you can. Fairy flight. For Monarch. Your moves are Fairy flight.
Cleanse them in the light. Why can't we be friends?
ว้านี่ขจัดไป3แล้วเหรอ
เด็กๆไปน้อง
นี่บ้าหรือเปล่าฮะ
The path to ascension is clear.
Up here. Catch me if you can. Fairy flight. I'm going to teach you the lesson. Catch me if you can.
ระวัง
Nature's call. Taking off. Fairy flight. For Monarch. Fairy flight. Taking off. Nature's call. For Monarch.
แหม่มันจะหอมฉุย
Catch me if you can.
พี่บอกตรงๆ นี่มันทางของพี่ชัดๆเด็กๆไปน้อง
Nature's call. Taking off. For Monarch. Nature's call.
Be cleansed
นิ่มขนาดเนี้ยนี่มันคนหรือขี้กันวะ
Taking off. Catch me if you can. Taking off. To the front.
Cleanse them in the light.
Fairy flight. Nature's call. Fairy flight. Your moves are transparent to me. For
Kiss my
Monarch.
ass.
เด็กๆไปน้อง
Nature's call. Taking off. For Monarch. Look out. Taking off. Catch me if you can. For Monarch. Catch me if you can. Fairy flight. Taking off. For Monarch.
The Hellborn have descended upon a Legion tower.
Taking off. Fairy flight. Nature's call.
Regeneration.
Catch me if you can. Nature's call. Catch me if you can. Nature's call. For Monarch. Catch me if you can. Nature's call. Catch me if you can.
ระวัง
Nature's call. Taking off. For Monarch. Up here. Fairy flight. Nature's call.
ว้านี่ขจัดไป3แล้วเหรอ
Flight.
Be cleansed.
Teach you a lesson. Taking off. Your moves are transparent.
เฮ้อเริ่มมีกลิ่นแล้วนะ เด็กๆไปน้อง
Catch me if you can. For Monarch. Nature's call. Catch me if you can. Up here.
In the light. Why can't we be friends?
Fairy flight.
โอ้ย
Path
Bah!
to
Udah, Wajeng.
ascension is have descended upon a Legion tower.
Look out! Catch me if you can. I'm going to teach you a lesson. Taking off. Your moves are transparent, mate. Fairy flight. Nature's call. Taking off.
Plans that in the light have descended upon a Legion tower.
Taking off.
Be cleansed.
I'm going to teach you a lesson.
A Legion barracks has fallen in the darkness.
แหมมันจะหอมฉุยว้านี่ข
Legion
จัดไป
barracks has
3แล้วเหรอ
fallen to the darkness.
For Monarch. Catch me if you can. Nature's call. I'm going to teach you a lesson.
Immortal ascension! Why can't we be friends?
Taking off. Nature's call. Catch me if you can. Up here.
Immortal ascension! Why can't we be friends?
For Monarch. Catch me Nature's call. Taking off. Catch me if you can. Nature's call. Catch me if you can. I'm going to teach you a lesson. For Monarch. Up here. Catch me if you can. Taking off. Nature's call. For Monarch. Fairy flight. I'm going to teach you a lesson. Taking off. Fairy
Poor
flight.
Kongor has found the light.
Catch me if you can. For Monarch. Fairy flight. Taking off. For Monarch. Catch me if you can.
Be cleansed.
Taking off.
Immortal Ascension! Why can't we be friends?
วักกลับมา
โอ้
เนี่ย
ไม่รู้จัก
Nature's
ตบกู
call.
ยังลูก
The path to ascension is clear.
Taking off. For Monarch. Too slow. Fairy flight. Nature's call. Fairy flight. Taking off. For Monarch.
The Hellborn have descended upon a Legion tower.
Fairy flight. Nature's call. I'm going to teach you a lesson.
The Hellborn have descended upon a Legion tower. A Legion barracks has fallen. A Legion barracks has fallen to the darkness.
Nature's call. For Monarch. Look out. Catch me if you can.
Be cleansed.
Too slow. For Monarch. Look out.
The dark matter is eliminated. Immortal Ascension!
นี่ขจัดไปสามแล้วเหรอ
We
โอ้
need
ไม่รู้จัก
friends.
ตบกูยังลูก
Taking off. Catch me if you can. Up here. For Monarch. Catch me if you can. Nature's call. Fairy flight. Too slow. Nature's call. Catch me if you can.
The Hellborn have descended upon a Legion tower.
Taking off. Your moves are transparent to me. Catch me if you can.
The Hellborn have descended upon a Legion tower. A Legion barracks has fallen to the darkness.
Your soul is mine. เริ่ม
มีกินแล้วนะ โอ้ไม่รู้จักตบกูยังลูกแหม่มันจะหอมจุ๋ยบอกเด็กๆไปนี่บ้าหรือเปล่าโอ้ไม่รู้จักโอ้ไม่รู้จักยังลูกตบกูยังลูก
Nature's call. Your moves are trademark to me. For Monarch. Catch me if you can. Too slow. Taking off. I'm going to teach you a lesson.
The Hellborn have descended upon a Legion tower.
Lock the troll.
เนี่ยมันคนหรือขี้กันวะ
The path to ascension is clear.
Catch me if you can. Your moves are
The
trademark to
Hellborn
me.
have descended upon a Legion tower.
I'm going to teach you a lesson.